All right. With all the crazy going on right now between the California fires, was the wildfires, now it's neighborhood fires. The Muscatina playing his Xbox all over the world and why he bought that Xbox in the first place, being found that the Xbox was the main distributor of fake games in the world, sponsored by Ruskatina Putineska Red School, and was discovered by the Department of Justice in a huge, sprawling indictment that included hundreds and thousands of people and millions and millions and millions of dollars per month going out to pay for fake games being distributed. It was found in that investigation that the fake games were distributed the most on the Xbox purchased by Elon Musk using Putinesco Red School money. Is all that code still getting through? Okay, good. Now let's follow it into the reality of straight talk. Right now, we have so much bullshit being spread nationwide as usual. The hurricanes came in. There was a press conference in front of a broken down building. Somebody's hard earned, lifelong dream of a business destroyed behind this man who uses the rubble of the destroyed business from a natural disaster, not a Joe Biden remote controlled storm, but a natural disaster, built a freaking wall just to stand behind on a fake podium to have a fucking press conference about raising money on a GoFundMe and all this wonderful stuff he's done. And here's a picture of all the 18 wheelers full of stuff that I sent. Never mind the Samaritan's Pride or Samaritans, the actual generous people that sent these 18 wheelers. Trump had this big fake presser in front of this truly small business destroyed to do this. This entire hurricane thing that was put out there on the marketing side, marketing meaning not informational, it's supposed to be informational, by the red hats and Cheeto Von Shits and Pants. This is the point. This is my entire point. He's doing the same thing with the fires that he did with the hurricanes. Joe Biden had all of this lined up before the hurricanes hit. He had declared a state of emergency just as Newsom did. He had all the emergency stuff lined up. He knows what he's doing with fires. We've had our experience in California. But in the hurricanes, you've had all of these different press people from the MAGA hats telling people that FEMA was going to repossess their houses if they accepted any help. So there were these people who lost everything that FEMA went to help, and they basically refused the help and kicked them out. They stirred up so much anger that there were actually militia groups in the mountains in the Carolinas and down in the hurricane ravaged places, chasing, shooting at, pew-pewing at FEMA people there to help them, where FEMA people, volunteers, people that were trying to help people for no pay whatsoever, were literally being attacked for trying to help. We had so much of that stirred up in Puerto Rico. Not only did he throw paper towels and not give a shit, he literally gave them 10-year-old water from a warehouse and cut their funding. He literally, after he did his press thing with throwing paper towels, he literally got back to the mainland and cut their funding. Tornado response in blue states, cut their funding. He keeps threatening California, cutting the funding for fires. When he had that big thing over in the desert in Coachella, remember when he stranded thousands and thousands of people in a parking lot because he only paid for 2 buses to finish off the night, but paid for 15 of them or whatever it was to get them to the venue? As he's telling him in California that he's not going to give Governor Newsom or the state anything for fire emergency stuff, and he's going through all this in California to the people in Coachella, and then he leaves them stranded in a parking lot. Remember those people, that state right now that's burning right now, that these fires were apparently set by somebody or some people deliberately? The one guy on video, it looks to be like a 30-ish-year-old white male. Couldn't see his hat, though. There's room for conspiracies on all sides, but when you're talking about Puerto Rico having their funding cut, we're talking about the threat of the whole state, a state, however, who is the 4th largest economy in the world. In the world. 4th largest. And you know what California pays for all of these people that are mad at Californians? All of the people that are saying that Joe Biden only gave $750 again. There he goes, that cheap bastard. What a piece of crap. He doesn't want to help anybody. Only Donald Trump will help people. All of that garbage, $750. The blue school, these, people who know how to read will repeat, is the most amount he's allowed to give to anyone based on the Constitution. The other money comes from the Republican Congress. Period. End of discussion. He's starting that bullshit again with the fires in California. Oh, they're only getting $750. They've lost their house. And then it's the rich people and poor them. They lost their house. They've got 5 houses. Who cares? You should care because it could have been your house. These rumors and with the fires, it's all blamed on Joe Biden. The Native Americans, I've heard, were blamed for it as well. And Gavin Newsom, the favorite target. And Gavin Newsom is dealing with this stuff. He's fighting this bullshit. There's no water because the water is flowing. It's protecting the smelt and blah, 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 and it's because Gavin Newsom and there was nothing in the reservoirs and all that. And he cut $17 million from the budget, which is why they didn't. He cut more than $17 million from the budget because there were purchases that were one-off purchases that last 5 to 10 years each purchase. So they didn't need that money. That's called government efficiency. That's called not wasting money. But they did raise the budget $50 billion because there were other things that were needed. So while they checked the box saving money on something they didn't need, they actually increased the budget. That is what he did. That is a fact. Now, as far as the no water thing, let's look scientifically. I know. Scientifically, that is way more than 2 syllables. So I'll break it down in simple English. If you have all of these water faucets in a house on at once, if you have all your computer devices in a house on the Wi-Fi at once, what happens to all the other faucets, all the other computer devices? The Wi-Fi usage, it slows down. That's what happens. When you're dealing with a house on fire that takes 1,000 to 1,500 gallons of water to fight each house, and you have every single fire hydrant in an entire area on full freaking blast, nonstop for days at a time, what happens to the power in that water? What happens to the pressure? This is just science. What also happens if it's a gravity-fed system, if all of this extra sucking out of water has to go up mountains in order to put out fires? What happens? Not only are you fighting science against gravity, which is, another, you know, that's why there's no water. So all of this bullshit, they could just turn on a spigot up in Canada and it'll flow down. He thinks the world is a map that's up there and the water just trickles down. This is the man everyone's listening to getting pissed off about. This is the man starting all this bullshit nationwide when we need to come together. This is the man who's trying desperately to get back into the White House and will not because more's coming. But anyway, different videos. But this is the man who's starting this crap. So the people who need the help the most aren't getting it because of lies. The people who are actually providing the help the most that are giving it have to pause their help, just like, the service people and the first responders going past his press thing that was at the rubble of the business that we discussed earlier. Yeah, there was only one road in and one road out. Those roads were blocked the entire afternoon he had his press conference. So they couldn't get to who they needed to help so he could do his fucking, yeah. That's the reality, big picture of this situation. So if there's anyone out there falling for this stuff, and I hope no one on my page is, and if they are, I hope I'm educating them where we are. But here's the thing. He's standing on the rubble. Trump was standing on the rubble of a town and called it the wrong name 4 times, with the mayor and Governor Newsom whispering in his ear. I love it here in Pleasure. It's paradise, sir. Pleasure is such a wonderful town. It's paradise, sir. One side cares, one side doesn't. All the Republicans were in Mar-a-Lago from California as the fire burned. Every single one. Now there's restrictions on the fire aid for California in Republicans. So be smart, stay diligent, stay educated, and be kind. We're all in this together. And it's our state now